So I've got another one here, going over different FromSoftware games, but I wanted to check this video out because since I played Dark Souls 3 and Elden Ring, I have pretty high faith in FromSoftware as a company, so I really want to check out a bunch of other games by them because I feel like they're probably going to be pretty gosh darn good. So let's see where the future of FromSoftware is potentially taking us. It's kind of a shame that dude with an RR in his name isn't a... Okay.
Alright, what's going on, guys? If there is one company of game developers that has the ability to take the world by storm whenever they want, it is FromSoftware.
Yeah.
Their ability to pump out masterpiece after masterpiece is unmatched in the industry, and given that their only policy when it comes to making games is to make what they want to make, the future is looking incredibly bright for them. So today I want to ask a question. What exactly is that future? With Armored Core 6 scheduled to release sometime this year, incredible sources claiming that Elden Ring DLC will be coming in 2024. Today I want to look beyond all that and imagine what FromSoftware might be putting out in years like 2025 and 2026. But this isn't just coming out of nowhere. Over the past few months, Elden Ring has achieved something historic, winning all 4 of the most acclaimed Game of the Year awards, which is an accolade only held by Skyrim and Breath of the Wild. And as this has been going on, Miyazaki has been doing several interviews, each time giving a little insight into their vision for the future. So I'm going to take you through what he said in these different interviews and use it to paint a picture of what we might see in the not so distant future. So as we reviews and use it to paint a picture of what we might see.
If you know, you know. Jesus Christ.
In the not so distant future. So as we dive into all that today, if you would like to stay up to date on all things Elden Ring and FromSoftware, then go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and now let's get into it. Let's begin by putting this future into a bit of context and confirm the most basic speculation, that we do actually have more games down the line that Miyazaki himself will be directing. And to confirm that we have a quote from Miyazaki from a roundtable discussion between Miyazaki and some analog game creators that took place last month. This discussion focused on the idea of creating fantasy worlds, and is honestly a very interesting read if you're interested in learning how Miyazaki creates the worlds that we play in. But there was a section in this discussion where they talked about possible collaborations, and asked Miyazaki if he'd be interested in making an analog game, to which he responded that he's too busy working on several new titles, and that if he said anything about them then he'd be making several people angry. So it's not a surprise to hear that we have several new Miyazaki games on the way, though there's no telling how far out they are. But even beyond that, we have more to look forward to. Potentially more FromSoftware games that aren't directed by Miyazaki himself. There was a recent finding of a LinkedIn page of a FromSoftware employee named Kenneth Chan, who worked on both Armored Core 6 and Elden Ring, but also lists that as of January 2022, he was a producer on an unannounced project within the company.
People have to stop, like, posting on their LinkedIn and shit like that. I've heard of multiple games where they've been leaked because some idiot put it in their, like, LinkedIn or something. Like, I don't mind this. It's kind of cool that they are saying unannounced. I do like this, but I'm glad that they didn't just put, like, name of the game. You know what I mean? This does give a little cookie, though, which is nice. Oh, I don't know, Bridges. I don't know. If they make a new King's Field game, I'll ship. I don't know what King's Field is. Oh yeah, the name is generally Sean, but there has been a couple leaks in the past for some games by idiots accidentally breaking their NDA and putting it in their LinkedIn. Fucking idiots, stupid head faces. Fuck.
Company, but it doesn't list any details about the game. This does appear to confirm a FromSoftware game that's been in development for at least a year, that we know nothing about yet. It's entirely possible that this could be Shadow of the Erdtree, but that would seem to suggest that Elden Ring DLC has been in development before the game launched. It is also worth noting that the LinkedIn page appears to have been deleted since then, so make of that what you will. And it does align with an interview from last year between Miyazaki and 4Gamer, where he describes what production in the company is going to be like going forward. He says says there are several titles directed by people other than me, and it's time to increase the development staff. I think we can show you another color or direction of FromSoftware, so please look forward to it. He goes on to say, so I'm aiming for a situation in which the titles that support the company will be handled by new young directors, and I'll be able to quietly create titles with a high degree of interest. This time, increasing the number of staff and creating a new system was also aimed at such a goal. And
that's fantastic. That's great news. This is good. This is good shit right here. This is great. I love this. A Sekiro 2? I guess we'll see what happens. But I think this is great. I mean, so long as he still gets to peer at it and be like, okay, I like this, I don't like that, I like, you know what I mean? But reading this, what I see here is that he's expanding the company out, making more games, and then he is going to focus on some other very big passion projects. So FromSoftware is going to be putting out multiple different games, which are still going to be held to FromSoftware standards, I hope. And then he's going to work on some passion projects. That's what I'm reading from this. And if that's the case, then this is actually so exciting. As long as the young new directors are carefully chosen, sounds great. More FromSoftware games for us. Exactly, Bridges. That's what I'm hoping for. I'm hoping that they're held to a very certain standard. Oh, dang. As long as they're held to a very rigorous standard. From what I've seen though, it seems like FromSoftware is pretty good at putting out a bunch of different kinds of games. So that's good. I wonder what other kinds of worlds and like genres they're gonna explore. Oh, Sean! Yo! That would be sick! That would be sick! And before Passion Project or his Gundam model kits? Hey man, that's fine. If he just wants to fuck off and build some Gundam models, I'm okay with that. So long as there's still FromSoftware games coming out. Live your life, dude. Yeah, that would be fantastic. I would love a Berserk game. But I still have to read and watch it. Yeah, because there is a show for it, right? It's not just the manga. You okay, Bing? There is a show for Berserk, right? Old anime and a bad new anime. Start with the 3 movies. Okay. Can start with the 3. What is it? Are you okay? Oh, wow. Good job. All right, well, anyways, let's get back to this video. Either way, there's so much to speculate about. This is so exciting. So ready for this. I'm so excited.
This time, increasing the number of staff and creating a new system was also aimed at such a goal. And at this point of time, we are a little bit further on from this interview, and FromSoftware has drastically increased the hands on deck on their team. All through last year, we were covering the story about FromSoftware hiring many new people for pretty much every position in the company. So the amount that they're able to output is going to be significantly higher now. And so as I've been thinking about all this, it really makes me think that we're about to start getting annual releases from FromSoftware. That is, one major project every single year. And this wouldn't really be new for the team, as this is the kind of schedule they followed up until Sekiro.
Wait.
Wouldn't really be new for...
I can't really read that. Armored Core, Enchanted Arms, Another Centuries, Episode 2, Chrome Hounds, Kingsfield. Okay, so that's what Kingsfield is. Kingsfield Additional 2, Armored Core 4, Nampure, Irarojiva, Another Centuries, Episode 3, finale, Armored Core 4, Answer, Shadow Assault, Tenchu, Inugamike no Ichizoku, Nintendo DS, damn. Ninja Blade, Demon Souls, I gotta play. Wait, Demon Souls. Was Demon Souls just on PS3? Was Demon Souls just on PS3? PS5 or PS3? I got a PS4. I have a friend that has a PS3. Maybe I could borrow their PS3? I hope. I'll ask them when the time comes. PS3 emulation is decent now. Would I be able to buy the game and have the disc? Because I want to have the disc physically. Like, I want to buy the game. It's dated now. I don't care if it's dated. I still want to play it. Okay, then maybe we'll do that. Maybe we'll do that then. Like, okay. So, I'll do a quick little emulation. So, I don't mind emulators, but I feel kind of gross not actually physically owning the game, if that makes sense. Like, I would like to buy the game, but if it's not possible for me to have, like, a system to play it on, because, like, I don't want to buy a PlayStation 3 or a PlayStation 5. That is so much fucking money. But I'll buy the game. That's fine. It's just, I'm also not going to, like, what? The last time I touched my PlayStation 4 was when we had no internet. For, like, a day or so. I played some Spyro. That was, like, was that last year? Before that, the last time I played it was, like, on stream with you guys. So, like, I don't really touch my PS4 anymore. PS3 probably costs less than the game nowadays? I don't know. I still think that buying a PlayStation 3 would just be a waste of space right now, though. I can't play it on PS4, it looks like, no. Depends if the only way to get the game is to drop $300 to a scalper or find a ROM. Well, I mean, yeah, if... I guess. I have a PS2 emulator, but, like, I have PS2 games. And so I play my PS2 games on the emulator, and that works just fine. I just plug in a PlayStation controller, and it works great. But I do want to play Demon's Souls. I don't mind if it's a little dated. Excuse me. Monster Hunter Diary. They did a Monster Hunter game? Dark Souls, Armored Core 5. Oh, so I guess Scholar of the First Sin, that was probably the DLC, right? Bloodborne. I can't wait to play Bloodborne. Monster Hunter Diary. Another one. Villaged. Dark Souls 3. Dark Souls 3 was 2016, eh? And then they remastered it 2 years after. That's actually really funny. Sekiro came out in 2019. Oh, a definitive version. Okay, I get it. AI bridges. Working on it. Alright. Well then.
For the team, as this is the kind of schedule they followed up until Sekiro, if we include DLCs. And of course, Elden Ring took a lot more time, but that is a much heavier project than the others were. And so that's why I'm kind of under the impression we're going to start seeing games from them more often. And if the leaks about Shadow of the Erdtree and Armored Core release dates are true, then we can expect the next major FromSoftware title after Armored Core and Elden Ring DLC in 2025. So now let's think about what that might be. And it brings us to this recent Miyazaki interview with IGN, where they talk about this exact topic. When asked what kinds of games are currently inspiring Miyazaki, he had this to say: "I'm not really sure whether this is the latest trend, but the multiplayer elements that are in terms of both technology and the game designs, we keep updating them. So I'm really interested in that as one of the fans and one of the creators, especially speaking of Escape from Tarkov, for example. So I'm basically paying attention to those elements as a creator and a fan of the game." For those of you that are unfamiliar with Escape from Tarkov, it's an online multiplayer extraction shooter with a lot of complexity and some RPG elements that involves being dropped into a map and having to fight your way out of it against both player and non-player enemies. And there's also some survivability and crafting aspects to it as well. But that's a very basic explanation, but honestly the best I can do. It's very, very different than anything FromSoftware's done before. But let's keep reading. Other folks in the industry, they keep updating multiplayer network functionality and the game design in order to change the way that the players are involved in the gameplay and how the players are used as one of the resources for the gameplay. So that's why I'm paying attention to these elements. And it's honestly really interesting that Miyazaki would say that, because he was one of the first people to ever do this style of multiplayer with invasions in the Souls games, where another player becomes part of the world you're playing through. I think that shows a lot of integrity. But the interviewer then asked him if Elden Ring's success is going to be shaping what they do going forward. To which he responded, "Obviously Elden Ring is a commercial success. Everybody's aware about that, but it doesn't really affect what we're going to create next. We basically keep creating the game that we want to create, and that's that's our policy.
Good.
It's very simple. It
That's
was obviously a
fantastic.
good experience for me and the other team members working on Elden Ring. Sometimes we were all super excited about what we were doing. Sometimes we failed to do certain things in the game, implementing something into the game. But whatever the case, it was a really good experience, and we basically want to keep creating the game which has a very big worldview universe, and let the players feel the adventure spirit. So does this all mean that Miyazaki wants to create a game like Escape from Tarkov? Does this mean we're about to get FromSoftware FPS games? While I'm not going to entirely rule out the possibility, I don't think that's at all what you should be getting from this article. It's the idea behind the multiplayer that he's interested in. It's that idea of even though you're playing a single player game, like we do with the Souls games, other people are still connected to your world, and everyone's adventures are intertwined. Now that's not exactly how Tarkov works, but what he's doing is looking at other multiplayer games that use this same principle of other players directly being a part of your story, whether that's in a good or bad way, instead of speculating about a potential FromSoft Battle Royale or trendy multiplayer game. But now let's add one last layer to the context here, and contrast this IGN interview with another quote from that 4Gamer interview, where Miyazaki was asked, "Please tell us about your goals as a director, Mr. Miyazaki. You've completed a culmination of Elden Ring, but is there anything you'd like to do in the future?" To which he responded, "As the director, I'm already working on the next title, so I'll avoid spoilers for that, but in the medium to long term, I'd like to work on fantasy with a higher degree of abstraction than my previous works. In the process of making action RPG fantasy titles, including Elden Ring, we kept accumulating fantasy ideas and images that were not suitable for that format, and at some point we spit them out. I want to." And I think that right there is the key to understanding what their next games are going to be. It's little interesting ideas that we can see in the games that already exist, that become expanded upon in future titles under a different universe. And if you're a Souls veteran, you might know what I mean, but let me explain. Through many of the past games, there have been hints at what their next game is going to be, through seemingly unimportant details that don't appear to particularly fit in the world they inhabit. For example, Marvelous Chester in Dark Souls 1 was a clear nod to their future title Bloodborne. Old Hunter Yamamura in Bloodborne appears to be an early concept of Sekiro. And as we discussed in the last Discoveries video, there are a lot of concepts like these in Dark Souls 2 that would be explored fully in Elden Ring, two of the strongest being the Giants and Mikola. So when we speculate about FromSoftware's future titles, it probably won't do any good to make up new ideas, but rather to explore the foundations that already exist and can be expanded upon. So let me challenge you with this question. I want you to think of an idea for a game that builds off a foundation that already exists in the current games, that would allow for further exploration of multiplayer functions and ideas, but that would take place in a world with lore that's even more abstract than what we currently have, and creates an intriguing and interesting adventure setting for the player. Because that's how we need to think about the game that's going to come after Armored Core and Elden Ring DLC. So I'm really interested to see what you guys come up with down in the comments below. But before I end the video, I'm going to give you the one I've been thinking about. For the longest time, I've been expecting FromSoftware to explore a pirate setting, a dark fantasy that focuses on the story of the deep ocean. Since they've been hinting at that kind of story for a long time. They've touched on ideas in the deep sea back in Dark Souls 1, Dark Souls 3, Bloodborne, but have never taken it beyond simple ideas that exist only in lore tabs or imagery. A lot of people thought a potential Bloodborne 2 might have a lot of these themes, but I say it's time for Pirate Souls. So clocking in my prediction now, and we'll see what happens in 2025. Either way though guys, that's gonna pretty much do it for the video today. I hope you enjoyed. This is a topic I've been wanting to discuss with you guys, but haven't really had the opportunity because there's been so much going on. I know it's pretty unreasonable to be thinking this far ahead when we don't even have Armored Core or Elden Ring DLC out yet, but you guys know I like to speculate. Either way though, be sure to leave a like on the video and subscribe if you're new around here, and I will catch you in the next one.
Yo, I would love that. I would love that so much. That would be the best gosh darn thing ever. Dark Souls in space. There's another thought. What? Oh, I'm sorry. Am I not petting you enough? Oh my gosh. Dark Souls in space. Dark Souls goes to the bottom of the ocean. There's so many things that they could do. Oh my gosh. A pirate one would be fucking stellar though. How cool would it be to like make it a little different, like go from like island to island and like have a ship and a crew and stuff, but it's like Dark Souls themed where you have to like find certain relics or something that are on different islands. There's like temples and stuff that you have to go through and like gods at the bottom of the sea. That would be so cool. Beautiful souls, yeah. Oh, that would be funny. That would be really funny. Dark Souls, but it's Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. Honey, I Shrunk the Tarnished. Yeah. Couldn't be on a boat 100% of the time. Exploration. Well, yeah, that's the thing. Like your hub world, or like your home world would be the boat, but then you would go to different islands in, like, let's say like a chain of islands that's kind of like the Ring of Fire or something, and that would be so stellar. Going into like like an Atlantis type area. Oh, I can picture it now. Your ship near the end of the game, going into the final area, you find a giant whirlpool, and you go into the whirlpool, and you're going down, and you're going down, and then you find yourself, your ship is floating underwater, and then there's like this big, gigantic castle underground, and you go through there, and you'd have to fight a kraken for sure in that game. Giant squid. I think that'd be so cool. Oh, did you guys see? There was actually footage of sperm whales that had giant squid, and like it had a giant squid in its mouth, and there was like a tentacle that was stuck to like the top of its head and shit that was like ripped off. Did you guys see that? I think I might have retweeted it. Bottom of the sea stuff is so fascinating. I'm terrified of the ocean. Petrified. It's a scary place. I can't breathe water. But I love everything to do with the sea. But like, if you guys haven't seen it, you should go check out my Twitter, because I'm pretty sure I retweeted it. Otherwise, I could find it. But it was cool as hell. It was really, really, really cool. Deep sea stuff is really cool. I would love to see that kind of game. There's so much that could happen. Dark Souls, but you're a fish and you have to fight other fish to... Well. Oh yeah, no, Bridges, 100%. Fuck the ocean, but also it's such a cool place. Such a cool place. I love everything to do with it.